Good afternoon. Working for you?
Hello?
Hello, we're hearing you.
Hello?
Hello, we are hearing you.
Okay, yes. That's why this is Jam down here.
Yes, Jam down.
My friend Juicy, I have two questions I want you to address. The country will like to know about the Southeast Peninsula land, 1 acre, where Robert Llewellyn Bratcher leave over there, and it disappear. And this country know nothing about that. That's one. This country want to know why the rejected Prime Minister acquire Dr. Beard land, a born Newton man, a poor man, take his land away from him and give it to some people over in the Southeast Peninsula, and people who land he take getting the money, but Dr. Beard can't get he one. I want to know what's in store for Dr. Beard, and he deserves compensation, and the country want to know. The next thing I want to ask, what's happening
that
with that flagship? We want to know what's happening with the flagship down there in a boatyard. It's awful, and this country need answers. It's a big room around town, you need 2 computers.
Yes.
You know, because, Juicy, I know about that Coast Guard, you know. It come here for a while now. When Blake was the captain of that Coast Guard,
you give me my iPad?
That boat used to maintain properly. All of a sudden, the thing turned over to the army, then washing the boat, then taking care of the boat. You got the Southern Command telling all kind of lies. And these things need to address. It's burning issues. We got problem where people just coming in on the beaches and doing as they like. These things need to address, and you all got to come to the country with these things. You can't go down the road like this callous boy, this vagabond. Very hard to call himself a prime minister. I talk about he got the remedy for crime. Got a remedy for crime.
Jam down. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, my friend Jam down, who gave us 3 questions. The first one, the Southeast Peninsula and 1 acre left by Bob Bradshaw. I'm not quite certain what he is referring to.
Right.
The Southeast Peninsula had been an area where we had local landowners or landowners involved, and in which, of course, the Southeast Peninsula Road, the Kennedy Simmons Highway, was constructed back in late 1980s. And opened it up as it was as the future for St. Kitts in terms of tourism development. I think that the late Sir Robert Bradshaw did own, as a landowner, had a certain amount of acres there. And I'm not certain if they're still in his estate or had been taken, but they were privately owned by him and would then devolve to his estate, his family, or whoever else is in charge, the representative of the estate, some maybe about 20-something acres or something like that. As regards Dr. Beard's claim, this to really explain this is a very long issue. Sure. What I would say is that this had been a matter that had been in litigation since the early 1990s.
Okay.
It is one of the longest running court cases in our history, and it's still alive, I should say. What actually happened is that Dr. Beard would have entered into a purchase and sales agreement to purchase 172 acres from a David Colgar, who owned about 850 acres at the Southeast Peninsula at Majors Bay. There was an issue at closing, and there are some legal issues that had never been resolved. Outside of Dr. Beard's land, though there was a sort of land that clearly Mr. Golga owned. And in 2006, at the time that Obeyage Fire Sky had been entering into discussions with the then Douglas administration to develop what is now Christophe Harbour, the government went and acquired all 850 acres of Goldgar, included the disputed 172 acres between Beard and Goldgar that was in court, and so extinguished as it was. That, and so that in turn, those lands were then sold to Christophe Harbour. And so through the acquisition, the government owed, as it was, those who the land had been acquired for. And Mr. Goldgar has gotten paid some of that money. And there are other, there was other monies still to be paid. And what has happened is that over the last few months, there have been, the matter has been in court, and it still needs to be determined ultimately as to whether Mr. Beard's interests would be vindicated or the monies would go off to Mr. Goldgar. But ultimately, the government has to compensate those whose lands have been compensated. Mr. Goldgar has had some, but there's still more to be completed. And I think that there is, as it was, a tussle between Dr. Beard and Mr. Goldgar that is still before the court.